I forgot to add myself to the stream. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Pop Culture Corner. Tonight we have a fun little show to do, just a little panel to get discussing the Suicide Squad. I mean, I'm going to be seeing it tomorrow at a press and promo, and I'm super excited for it. I know some people have issues with the direction the DCEU is taking and what Warner Brothers is doing, but I'm going to go in with an open mind, and I'm going to see it. I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to do my thing. And then I'll be doing a review and stuff like that for y'all to see. I can't wait for it. I can't, because the thing about it is there's some parallels between James Gunn and the Suicide Squad. They both seem to be getting a second chance, and that's something I'm excited to see. James Gunn's like the only guy who almost got canceled, but then didn't. So let's see how it goes, and the reviews are glowing. I'm super excited, guys. If you do want to send a topic, please send a super chat and help us out with our donations. All proceeds for the month go towards breast cancer awareness, and we're going to help some women in the Boston area with costs that aren't covered by insurance. So if you send a super chat, join our membership, or donate to the link that's pinned in the comments and in the description, it all goes towards our cause. We are at around $350 right now. Out of 500, so we're almost there. We just need a little bit more, guys, if you don't mind. So with that being said, let's do the introductions. So let's welcome tonight's panel. Yada, yada, yada. You like my little graphics? So first up, we got that one, Carlos. Carlos, how you doing, man?
I am doing great. What's up with this stream?
What's up? What's up with this stream? I don't know, man. I don't know.
No, nothing's up. What's up is that I've been away for a long time, and I'm glad to be back. I wish I was here much more often. Work was giving me such a drag, but things are looking up. Schedules are being changed, and I'm pretty happy with that.
Well, we always like to have you, Carlos, because you're such a knowledgeable and fun person to talk to. So next up, we have the ambassador. And I know he can't stay for long.
Hey.
He did want to say hello, and I'm not above that. I like when people come to say hello. How you doing, man?
Very well, Ty. Long time no see, and been far too long since I have visited the good corner, not the crappy corner. And glad to be here. And I will stay for as long as I can. I do have my own thing going on later this evening. But, happy to be in, happy to be talking. Suicide Squad, James Gunn. Always down to talk James Gunn. One of my favorite directors, honestly.
I like your posters. I love the posters in the background, man. Cruella, you love that film, huh?
A little something new. There's a little something old that's awesome. A little something new that's awesome. That's me.
All right,
I'm a little old, little new.
All right, and next up we have Andrew. Andrew Caselli, what's going on, man? Oh my God, Toby Spider-Man. There he is.
What's up?
And we'll have some more people joining throughout, some people leaving. It's going to be fun. So guys, I do want to ask a question. I have, basically what I've been thinking about is James Gunn and what his future in the DCEU could be, because we do know that, before this film, The Suicide Squad, even, released its first trailer, we already had a green light for a Peacemaker show. So clearly the WB executives saw something in this series or this somewhat sequel. The reviews so far are glowing. What do you guys think about James Gunn? Could he eventually come back and do another DCEU project?
Well, he's already set to be a part of the Peacemaker series on HBO Max, right? As a writer or executive producer or something like that, the limited series.
For what?
The Peacemaker series.
Yeah,
I know it hasn't gotten a lot of press because it's still in like early production, but no.
He wrote and will direct.
He's directing it.
I think he's directing or show running the entire series. So what I'm saying is, for a director to balance that, so we have the Suicide Squad, which he's balancing, right? He's doing the press and stuff for the Suicide Squad. He's also got Guardians of the Galaxy 3 looming in the distance, a Peacemaker show. Do you think he could take on another DC project?
Well,
There's also a few other Marvel properties as well.
Well,
James Gunn's
yeah.
known for doing light. He should do a DC character that's known for being lighthearted.
Well, I mean, there are some parallels, right? Wouldn't you think that? So, what most people are thinking is James Gunn for Justice League 2. I definitely am not in support of that. However,
No.
what about maybe a future Suicide Squad sequels? That'd be cool.
I guess. I mean,
I think.
I'll be right back.
Go ahead, Andrew.
No, I'll be right back.
I'll put my 2 cents in here. I think, honestly, for James Gunn, the more unorthodox the character or characters that he's given, the better, because he does good with unorthodox and he does good with very satirical / raunchy humor. So I think anything within the Suicide Squad universe would be a good fit for him. I mean, just about anything within the DC / Marvel universes that's unorthodox, that's goofy, that could be somewhat campy, would honestly be a good fit for him. So yeah, I don't think Justice League 2, although I seriously doubt that's ever going to happen, but any other unorthodox or out there franchise in terms of the DC universe for James Gunn would be a good fit. And yeah, if Suicide Squad does well, which I hope it really does. I hope it does well. I imagine they will bring him back on. I know he's got a lot on his plate in terms of what he's going to be doing for Marvel, particularly with the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and whatever else they may have lined up for him or whatever else he might be working on. But
Yes,
honestly,
indeed,
yeah, I am all for him coming back to either Marvel or DC down the road, and even anything else that he might do outside of those two universes. So, because he's shown that he is a good director, he's shown he's capable of handling all sorts of different properties and making studios money, making himself money, and entertaining the public. I mean, he's certainly done it for me. So, anyway,
and you know, I just thought it's kind of funny to me because if you think about it, who better to direct a Suicide Squad movie than James Gunn, right? You can see the parallels between James Gunn and the Suicide Squad. They're both kind of getting a second chance. James was the, I wouldn't say victim, but he was pulled on about some tweets that he put out some years ago about pedophilia and AIDS and HIV and stuff like that. So he was kind of in that he was in like a limbo for a while, and then WB picked him up for the Suicide Squad.
I bet they picked him up for that because they wanted, how they always wanted that Marvel money, and I think they can get it in James Gunn.
Well, I mean, so the Suicide Squad kind of in the same boat, right? The Suicide Squad was a mess. The first one. I'll be the first one to admit it. I enjoyed the movie.
Squad.
Studio Squad. I enjoyed the movie because I like Will Smith. I like Margot Robbie. However, it was definitely a giant trailer. So this movie, this franchise is also getting its second chance. And they both kind of needed it. So for I feel like James is the perfect person to take on these characters specifically.
Oh, that makes sense.
I mean, it's not like...
And 1 second, I do want to say hello to TW McKay, who just joined. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm finally back on the stream with the ambassador as well. This is a welcome experience because usually our schedules kind of wind up.
It's been a long time.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
I think you cut.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, TW.
So, TW, how's it going, man?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here.
All right, my man. I always love seeing you around. We were on Jarbo Street last night together, and with
I was watching that.
With the Jarbo stream, you never know what you're gonna get. That's for sure.
Yeah, the dude's always full of surprises.
Very. So I mean, guys, who are you most looking forward to seeing in this movie? in Suicide Squad? We'll go around the horn. So, Carlos, you're up first.
TDK. I'm looking.
Really?
Yes.
The detachable kid?
Yes.
I love
Really?
do you guys know what his name in
Absolutely.
the comic books is? Do you know what his name in the comic books is, Ty?
It's I know what it is. It's Arm Fall Off Boy.
Yes, Arm Fall Off Boy.
TDK, that's it.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I mean, like,
What a character for Nathan Fillion to play.
yeah,
Oh,
and I
Well, here's the
would
thing.
think he's like a star actor, but like they kind of giving him like the just like
The weird
cameo
like,
gag treatment.
Well, here's the thing.
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
They got the Thinker as Peter Capaldi, who I know from Doctor Who fame.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was he the doctor?
Yes, he
was
was.
the 12th
Number
Doctor.
12.
Okay.
He
so
was the doctor before Jodie. Yes, he was the doctor before
Okay.
Jodie Whittaker. So
I'm not a huge I've actually never watched
okay.
Doctor Who.
Now
so
I informed you.
thank you. So next up, Ambassador, who are you looking most forward to seeing?
honestly, and this might seem a little odd, I'm looking forward to Michael Rooker's character. I can't remember the name of his character, but just Michael Rooker.
Savant.
Savant. I love Michael Rooker. He is. I love him as an actor. Anything he's ever done, I've enjoyed. And yeah, but he's the one I'm going to be looking forward to seeing the most. But with that being said, I've got to bounce. I've got my own thing going on in a few minutes.
All right,
but guys, good to see you all. And hey, everybody,
Thanks, man.
make sure you smash the I'd love the hell out of that like button and support Ty, support the Pop Culture Corner, the only corner that you ever need to visit for pop culture. And
Is tonight
I will
Council
see you
of
all.
Ones, Ambassador?
TW? Or
Is tonight
Say one more time?
Council of the Ones?
no, Friday night. Tonight I'm just as Council of One's Babylon 5. Tonight is something a little bit different. I'm doing a roast, so to speak. So
Ooh,
anyway.
I'll have to check it out after, man.
yeah. And hey, Ty, again, thank you for having me on. And guys, have a great stream. And like I said, I will catch you all later. Peace
All
out.
right,
Bye.
man. Bye-bye. So we have the detachable kid, we have Savant, TW. Who are you looking forward to most in the Suicide Squad?
For me, it's kind of a tie, just because I always liked Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I always think she does a great job with the role, and so I'm excited for her. But also, there's just the strange, curious fascination with the Sly Stallone King Shark.
Oh yeah.
He's just so different from like every other version I've seen. Like whether it's in comic books, whether it's the video games, whatever.
You got Rocky himself as King Shark.
Well, I mean, so James called in that favor because he had worked on Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians 2, yeah.
with
Oh
him.
yeah, he was the work for Yondu.
Yes. So he called him in to do the voice for it, and he told this funny story about how when Sly was working on Guardians of the Galaxy, he could never say Ravagers. He would call them the Ravengers with an
He's
N.
like, Ravagers.
Yeah. And like he would have to, like James would have to come up and be like, all right, Sly, it's the Ravagers with no N. And then Sly would go back in the booth and be like, we're the Ravengers. And like,
There you go.
Jesus Christ.
You know something? I found out that the one of the crew members, the one with the ice head, was Michael Rosenbaum.
God, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's an
Yeah,
interesting
I
fact that
can
I
buy
did
that.
not know.
And Nathan Fillion was also in
Yes.
Guardian 1.
It seems like James is one of those guys who kind of brings a cast with him.
Oh yeah, he's got
seen
kind
like-
of
like
his
Christopher
list
Nolan.
of people.
Exactly. I was gonna say exactly like Chris Nolan, who kind of has his cast lined up.
Like Christian Bale?
No, like Nolan has Alfred, the guy who played Alfred,
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine. I always forget his first name, and I always apologize. So and then like a slew of others that are always in his films, and I feel like James is kind of the same way. Andrew, who are you looking forward to most?
Yeah. Oh, me? I want to check out Idris Elba's Clutch. I also want to see Capaldi's Thinker, and I want to see how funny Stallone could be as King Shark.
Yeah, I think the subtle humor here, like not the subtle humor, but like some people have been complaining, even guys on my team, right? Like Austin doesn't really like John Cena's character, like how he is portrayed with the jokes and stuff. I mean, how do you guys?
With the dick jokes.
Yeah, how do you guys feel about the kind of raunchy humor and
Well,
and
maybe
WB kind
It's
of?
an-
if they don't
it's
force
an-
it, if they don't
it's-
force it too
yeah.
much, he'll be good.
All right, one
It's
at,
an-
one
it's
at a
an-
time.
Yeah, good. I think it's the stream. It's like every time I think I'm good to go, it's like I catch up.
Yeah, it's okay. But okay, so TW, what were you gonna say?
What I was thinking was, as far as, hey, what was the question again?
What about what
What
do you
about
think?
John Cena's dick jokes?
Well,
yeah.
the raunchy humor and like the nature of
It's
of
an
the
R-rated
film.
James Gunn movie. I know what I'm getting. Like, I'm not offended at all. And then, especially like some of it's just like, I'm like, huh, yeah, that seems like something that belongs in a
he's
James
gone.
Gunn movie.
He left.
Ty.
Yeah, oh, there he is.
Hi, Caden.
Where did Tad go?
I
It's a very good.
there's some for some reason the streams keep kick. It happened to me and Caden last night as well.
Really?
Really?
The stream like will just boot me out randomly. But
I see that happen to a friend of mine. His name's Geek Studios.
yeah, it's starting to get under my skin, honestly.
What's
then-
StreamYard's parent company? WB, they're on you.
Is it actually?
No.
Yeah, but
That's a
like,
joke.
they're
That's a
talking
joke.
about talking smack about our
It could
movies.
be AT&T. We don't know, right?
Yeah,
I actually don't know what StreamYard's parent company is. We'll look it up.
I'm pretty sure they're self-owned. But anyway, you were so we were talking about the raunchy kind of over-the-top humor that comes with the Suicide Squad. The first one didn't really have like the first one. It didn't really have like raunchy over-the-top humor. Nor did it have like that gruesome kill, like heads getting chopped off. The first one was kind of honed in a sense, but it was still supposed to be portraying that like ragtag group of supervillains.
You saw King Shark rips the dude in half.
Literally rips a dude in half, and that's seen in the trailer. I couldn't imagine what's actually going to happen in the film.
Well, they wanted to make it
It's coming out
PG-13
next week.
for 2016 Suicide Squad. So
Yeah,
like
There's your problem.
It's kind of obvious that it's gonna be neutered in a way. I mean, like even if they wanted to make it R, I mean, I'm pretty sure David Ayer wasn't gonna go for a hard R rating. Like you look at BVS Ultimate Edition, like it's not there's nothing there that I wouldn't like want to shield anybody from, because it's just that kind of unfiltered and like blatant,
right.
but it's still mature and it's still packs a punch and stuff like that. So when it comes to the humor, I'm totally cool with it. I'm like I kind of welcome it. Where I come in is like, I guess I have a kind of like gag reaction, like gut reaction when it comes to physical dark humor, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, for
So
sure. Exactly.
so yeah,
Like
so I don't
know.
know. I don't know what to describe it. I mean, like, I can't even say Saw, because Saw is like, Saw is that's just gore and stuff like that. But like to be honest, I'm cool with that. But I think you know what I'm trying to get at.
I do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is just like totally not for me. It's totally bozo out there and in very bad taste.
You don't like so I'm guessing that you don't like the Saw movies.
No, I do.
You
No,
do.
I'm saying
In a comedic context.
like I'm gonna like, oh my god, I'm gonna spell it out. I mean,
It's okay.
I don't want to a vulgar kind of humorous take on it. Oh, this guy had sensitive bits tortured and blown off and he's dead now, and it's like I'm not trying to watch that.
All right,
you know what I mean.
Maybe this movie's not going to be for you, because James has been saying like don't get too attached to certain characters.
Oh no, wait, like
They're
everyone's
literally
gonna die?
expendable.
But didn't he say everyone's gonna die?
The issue is the gore. The issue is the gore, is what I think is
Yeah,
strange.
No, that's not. It's not exactly that though. It's like if somebody, if it's like somebody gets chopped in half, ripped in half like King Shark and stuff, or decapitated or something like that. That's okay. It's like that's cool. It's
Okay.
just when it comes to the sensitive stuff.
Okay, I can see that. And so Harley Quinn. Let's talk about Harley Quinn, because
DC's biggest moneymaker right now.
I was going to say exactly that. Harley Quinn, it seems like wherever she goes, the money comes. Now,
Like Batman.
right. So what do you guys think about this? Because with rumors of Flash kind of redoing the universe, if they take Ben Affleck's Batman out, let's say, just for sake of the argument, right? We're not confirming anything or whatever. Let's say, for the sake of argument, Flash reinvents the DCEU and Ben Affleck's Batman is no longer. Well, wouldn't that mean Harley Quinn or Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn doesn't really exist either? So
No.
And Wonder Woman and Aquaman.
No, it
none
does
of
not.
these-
It does not. It does not mean that. And the reason I say that is if you can use, even though it's a different universe, it's still DC. You look at the television universe, you look at the way that Crisis functioned, and the fact that you can have, originally, the Flash and Supergirl were on two different Earths.
That's
They
true.
wound up joining the same Earth.
right.
Neither of them realized they were from the same Earth, or like from different Earths before. They realized that. But other people around them who were part of the reconstituted universe were perfectly okay with it. So if they decide to kind of
So you're saying
they were-
merge the DCU with a different Earth?
no, what I'm trying to say is if they change out a character, I was describing myself poorly. If they change out a character, that's not unusual to me. I could see them kind of picking and choosing from previous events, because if they do wind up rebooting the DCEU, then all of the previous DCEU films relative before the Flash
Let's
would no
just call
longer be
them
canon, and they can
Snyder
kind of say,
canon, right? So we're
not even.
specifically-
You don't even necessarily need to call it the specifically the Snyderverse, because even though coincidentally, take into consideration, the Snyderverse and the DCEU have versions of movies in common, but they have one movie, or what is it, three movies in common: Man of Steel, the extended cut of Suicide Squad, and Birds of Prey.
Yes.
What about those?
BVS for the DCEU. BVS for the DCEU is the theatrical version. Justice League is the canon one towards the main continuity for the DCEU for Justice League.
And
You don't. The old quote is, you don't have to like it, but you do have to accept it, right? And so
exactly.
if they do
Okay,
decide
what you
to, if
just
they
say
do
right there,
decide to,
basically what like your parent tells you, like you're gonna eat these Brussels sprouts and you're gonna like it.
well,
it's an apt analogy. It is an apt analogy. I will say that, but like it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It just means it's like, come on, these things are good, and whether or not I agree
Oh yeah,
is
Justice League was good.
whether or not I agree with that statement, Andrew, is irrelevant. What I'm trying to say, I'm trying to go from Warner's perspective.
yeah,
What's up?
I would like to hear his whole thought process. so basically, basically what you're saying is the way that they're laying it out is the way. So do you honestly, what do you think? Do you think they're going to reboot the universe into kind of what Katsuka is saying is what works for them? So the things that maybe have made $1 billion at the box office, like Aquaman.
That sounds valid. Like I would be unsurprised to see, the version of Harley Quinn that works for them in the movie context, the version of Batman, the version of Superman, the version of whatever characters. The other thing is, we only so far, again, because it's only set photos, the only thing we've seen as far as scope with respect to the main continuity of the DCEU is that we've seen The Flash and we've seen Batman.
Two Batmans.
Because the main DCEU continuity has The Flash and it has Batman. And really, we haven't seen much else, right? We've seen this other version of Barry with possibly another version of Iris.
Yes.
We've seen Keaton's Batman. We've seen Sasha Calle's Supergirl, but those are outside of the scope of the main universe.
Right.
So I could kind of pick whatever they want at the end.
Well, I feel like what you said about what works for WB, I feel like the one that they think works for Superman is that Black Superman coming soon for Batman, Robert Pattinson, and for Harley Quinn, the one we got in Birds of Prey.
Take into consideration the fact that Battinson is also, there's no evidence as of yet to say that they're going to readjust the continuities, because if they've already said going into the Flash and going into the Batman that those are separate continuities. The Batman takes place on Earth 2. Most likely, I think it was the Val Zod Superman is going to take place on Earth 2 as well.
Jordan's doing?
Well, that's just how it is canonically, but
And
we
hey-
don't know if
that's
this
what I'm saying.
this mini series is gonna
Yeah,
adhere to
isn't
that.
Michael B. Jordan doing that?
Seems to be.
Yeah. So, and listen, I am not okay. I'm actually not against that the Earth 2 idea, right? So the Robert Pattinson Batman and whatever Michael B. Jordan project. I'm kind of confused as to where the Ta-Nehisi Coates and why am I forgetting his name?
J.J. Abrams.
J.J. Abrams. I'm kind of confused on that project and where that sits now.
I thought that was the Michael B. Jordan one.
That's what I
No.
was saying, but it's not. It's separate. So where's Henry Cavill in all this? Because
in his own Earth from the D.
he's-
Snyderverse.
I know, but he is such a huge star right now. I mean, he's got The Witcher. He's got that new
Got that
series.
spy
Where he's,
series.
yep. And there's multiple big budget projects that have tapped Henry Cavill. The one that we all want, the Superman one, right? Our Clark Kent hasn't been announced, or we keep getting these other Supermen or these other Batmen. Yet we see little glimpses of the Snyderverse with like Ezra's Flash and Ben Affleck's Batman. It just seems like Warner Brothers is kind of like a mess right now.
Yeah, it's like
I mean,
it's like if you pour a plate of toys on the floor and you don't pick it up.
Yeah,
like like I really want the interconnectivity, and I really want the kind of play by play. And no, you could call it MCU. I mean, yeah, I guess so. I want to see these characters grow and evolve and learn from their individual movies, and take that kind of agenda and prerogative and take that with them to the ensembles and stuff like that. And they could be as dark or twisted or whatever as their individual projects need to be for their related story.
right.
But but we're not just going to hand wave it and say, in case of Deadpool, Deadpool's rated R, so Deadpool 2 didn't happen. No, in the ideal world, you if you were like looking at, say, Deadpool happens in 2016 or whatever. So what's happening? Civil War. So if you zoom out and you go into wherever Deadpool's staying, Toronto, Canada, or I don't know, I don't know. Ryan Reynolds
you can watch the airport fight on TV.
like somewhere in that world, Deadpool is doing his thing from Deadpool 1 and 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes
So-
sense. I mean,
so-
that
I'm
commercial,
okay. What?
that commercial we saw at Deadpool and Korg was kind of the start of it.
Yeah, that was a nice video. Hopefully he gets in. But yeah, my point still stands. Like that's kind of what I wanted. And when it comes to the multiverse and having the Val Zod Superman with Michael B. Jordan, J.J. Abrams, Calvin Ellis, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay to have separate universes, separate. I hate the word continuity because everything is canon. Because everything exists. It's in existence. It has the capability, like potential of being, traveled to. You know what I mean? So the people that we know from one universe can potentially, in some timeline or in some kind of set of circumstances, meet with other people. So it's happening. It exists. It's canon. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Two things.
But of course they're in separate realities. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I think WB is going to hand wave it and say, we're going to take what we like and we're going to take what we don't. We're going to take out what we don't like. So we like the Flash, Ezra Miller's Flash. We don't like Cavill's Superman. So now we're going to replace him with Sasha Kai and stuff like that. I think that's what they're going to happen. Best case scenario, they leave it all intact, and we have a lovely split up DC section in HBO Max, and it could say Earth 2, and then you see the Val Zod Superman series, you see the Batman
That's a cool
Batman
idea.
series, and then it's like another section that says Earth 214, and it's Man of Steel, BVS.
Ultimate
Zack
Edition.
Snyder,
Ultimate Edition.
Zack Snyder's Justice League. Then it says freaking Earth,
So
1 or Earth Prime or whatever, and then
Like-
it has those related things. We could have harmony. We could have it.
Yeah, we all live in peace and harmony.
So
You know-
what you're explaining is kind of a cool idea because like, not only are you building a fictional multiverse, but you're kind of creating one on HBO Max too, right? So you have your DC film continuity, but then on HBO Max you have these other worlds, right? And they're described for you, right? So
Yeah,
like,
and they could be in film or in TV form, but in in HBO Max's interface, it could have this beautiful kind of layout and structure where it's like, this is Earth 214, this is
Right.
Earth 2, this is Earth
Jeez.
blah blah blah.
Work at
Like-
WB right now, dude. You should go work there.
I was gonna say because like let's say you wanted to, all right, like today I woke up, I kind of want to watch the Gotham PD series, so you go to HBO Max, right?
Yeah.
And you click
I'm
on a
gonna-
playlist for Earth 2, right? It's like whatever
Wait,
it's labeled.
what? Make a playlist of all the shows as each
Yeah,
of the
like
Earths?
for instance, if you go to HBO Max and you go to the bottom, it has a DC logo, and you can click on that DC logo, and then it opens up all the DC projects.
And
right?
that'd be funny if like they show like some of the old stuff, and there's a playlist called Earth A&I, and it has the Burton Batman films.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm explaining here. Is that would be fun if like you could go to HBO Max, click on DC, and then click a world, and then theoretically you're in that world, right? So now you hit play and you're watching Gotham PD, but then you pull out, right? And then you go to Earth 214 and you watch Man of Steel,
And you
right?
go to Earth Prime, and you see the Arrowverse.
I
Well,
think that should be wiped from the slate, but
You can
That's
give
just
it a number if
me.
you want, but you know what I mean. And if you look at Disney
I think
Plus,
it's a beautiful idea.
I know it's
Hey,
awesome. Look at Disney Plus;
but
they
here's
kind of
the
have
thing,
that. They say like, this is Marvel Phase 1, this is Marvel Phase 2, and they have it in like different sections. And then they have like Marvel Legacy films,
That's
and
that's
Let's-
exactly what I was explaining, right?
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
kind of a playlist,
Yep.
right? You know how it's laid out on Disney Plus, where like you can go through. It's
Yeah, like
watch
Marvel,
them-
Marvel MCU Phase 1.
Yeah, it says watch them in order, and you click that. So something to that degree, I think would be really cool.
Hey, can you pull up that comment Katsuga said that had my name on it? It's a go scroll up.
Yes.
I don't
The producer will handle that. It's
Oh,
the one
okay.
where he said, "Imagine a crossover."
Oh, duh, you're gonna give me a heart attack.
Um,
Oh my god.
So, Andrew, imagine a world where DC and Marvel crossed over, and we got Affleck and Toby in a team up.
Stop. You're gonna give me a heart attack.
Oh my God!
yeah, I don't know if I don't know
I'm not
how DC is going to play hardball with Marvel. That's I expect that in the next 50 years. Probably in 2060 or something. We'll get
I
something
didn't know
like
if we'll
that,
still be around by that time.
but no time
These
today.
characters are going to outlive all of us. But like the one thing that I was thinking of when it came to sort of the interconnectivity and things like that was just trying to put my words together correctly here. What's interesting is, unlike the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where you have, it effectively seems like it has no end, right? And it was built that way. The fact that Warner's gave the keys to the kingdom to Zack Snyder, this is not a problem. I enjoy the films he's made, and I do hope he comes back for more someday. But Snyder only really wanted to do 5 movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Right.
the hero's journey for Superman was basically the foundation for it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so it does make me wonder. I think because that didn't get off the ground, like obviously Snyder would not have been around beyond that. It's just, I think there should have been some sort of exec producer in a Feige-esque role. But like even then it almost seemed finite in a sense, and then everything else beyond Justice League 3 is just kind of, oh, this is fun, oh, this is cool, like, you know what I mean? Am I describing?
you're making sense.
I know what you mean, and at least what I think about it is that when I hear about the whole Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League story, part 1, 2, and 3, and I hear it like at the. Can I give spoilers for the obsolete? They're not obsolete, but they're kind of outdated storyboards.
Of what?
Yeah,
Shoot.
man.
Like
Yeah.
they're not canon. And here's the
They're
thing:
not
they
being
wouldn't have,
used.
and not only they're not being used, they were not going to be the basis for Justice League 2 and 3 as the Snyderverse was being built anyway. So yeah, go for it.
But they were from Zach, and that's kind of his brainstorming thing. So I'll take it as, let's see if it was a world where we saw that. To be honest, if he went through with that, uninhibited, I wouldn't have liked to have Batman die at the end, and then we carry on 20 years later with the son of Lois and Batman being the new Batman.
Yeah,
I wouldn't like them either.
Because
I would have been okay with. I would have been actually perfectly okay with Batman dying because like it's something that I could see happening, and I think especially even though it was a fake death, of course, like Dark Knight Rises, it had sort of happened in a way. I'm kind of okay with that, but as far as I definitely was against personally as a fan the decision to have the child that Lois is carrying be Bruce's, I think I get it, but it was just not something I would have.
Yeah, I wasn't totally on board with that part either.
Yeah, but it gives a sense of finality to it, and you can't. And I understand when people say, well, Snyder was giving you the blueprint, and then you could just build it off from there. And it's like it's pretty finite, though. I mean, like
he had an end point. He had an end. He had an end and an epilogue.
Yeah, and like if you use like you're using Darkseid, he's literally like the fifth dimensional being from Apocalypse. The only thing he has are avatars. His true form, it literally embodies the whole universe itself, and you can't really kill it. Stuff like that. It's like he's like the head honcho. He's even beyond Thanos. Comparable to He Who Remains from Loki. Probably even more so because He Who Remains seemed pretty kind of nerfed. He was pretty
comic book version like Immortus and Galactus and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like Casey said here about the storyboards, so that was gonna never make it past a first draft. And I mean, let's face it, guys, we're in a world where Snyder has been tapped for. Look at the deal he just signed with Netflix, right? We have to be realistic here, and that's the thing that I think most fans of Snyder are overlooking is the real possibility that he can't return or won't return for any future DC projects simply because of the time frame. He's going to be working on a lot with Netflix, and he's got this other movie with also Netflix, the fantasy one, that one. I can never remember. Rebel Moons or something.
Yeah.
So we have to remember that there is a time frame for this, right? Ben Affleck's, I don't know how old. Henry Cavill, we don't really know what's going on with him. So we might have to face the fact about we have to move on without Snyder. So would James Gunn be a good fit to kind of replace him? We saw Sean O'Connell tweet about it. I saw Casey kind of tweet about it. Would James Gunn be a good fit for this kind of taking the lead, or would you want to see someone like J.J. Abrams?
I'm not. To be honest, neither of them. I mean, JJ, I barely knows what he does. Like, I know JJ did what, Star Trek. I didn't.
Yeah, he did. He also, what else did he do? I think he did Super 8.
He did he did Star Trek 09 and Into Darkness. Then he wound up doing Super 8. Then he wound up doing Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
all that he did Lost. Well,
watched none of that except for Force Awakens, and I slept through Rise of Skywalker. I couldn't bear to continue watching.
No one likes that movie. We can all agree.
I mean, Rise of Skywalker still made $1 billion at the box office. It made,
who cares about if it made money? It still sucks.
1.074.
And that is your opinion.
Yeah.
I'm not.
And to answer Andrew, I actually happen to enjoy that movie quite a bit.
You gotta be kidding me.
Rise of Skywalker, right? I kind of
I own it on Blu-ray and 4K. I saw it 3 times in theaters. What's that?
Yeah.
It's like saying I like Batman and Robin with George Clooney.
That's not even close to that.
No.
Rise of Skywalker was actually, the journey that Kylo Ren takes. And again, for me, I'm a general audience member when it comes to Star Wars, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not a huge Star Wars nerd. I'm more of like a Marvel DC guy, but for Kylo Ren's story and his arc, yeah, I kind of think maybe if he killed what's her name? His mother.
Leia.
I think if he killed Leia and stayed bad, that would have been a cool opportunity. But I still liked his arc, and I liked what they did with the characters all through the sequel trilogy.
What here's the thing about Kylo Ren. You know that helmet he wears that modifies his voice?
Yeah.
Yeah, in my opinion, I like it more when he wears that.
Yeah, I think
That's
everyone.
okay.
I mean, it's sleek and it's cool. Yeah,
And it makes him sound threatening.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the facade, you know. It's the
That
symbol.
was the point. That was the point. He was
Mimicking Darth Vader.
He got rid
trying
of
to be
the whole
Vader.
Last Jedi.
But you know, like I'm not really here to debate Star Wars because
Oh, yeah,
really,
absolutely.
me either.
I have no stake in it. Like I've to be honest,
that's fair.
I watched the original trilogy and I liked it. I mean, there was like a lot of awesome lines that my dog is ripping up her bed if you're hearing that. So like, and I like the original lines, you know, like I'm a Jedi like my father before me, blah blah blah, and like I found those things cool. I think it's a little campy, and I didn't like the choreography, but hey, you know, anyway, not JJ, James Gunn. Like, if you mean like replace Zack Snyder, I don't know what you mean by that.
I'm not saying replace Zack Snyder
or take a role similar to his a few years ago.
Yeah.
So being in charge of.
We need someone to kind of helm future projects, like because eventually we're gonna need a Justice League 2 or like another team up movie. It's inevitable, like Thanos.
Well, they've always been trying to catch up with Marvel.
Yes. So okay, if you guys are dead set on not being James Gunn, not being J.J. Abrams, and say it's not a possibility with Snyder, who would you bring in to kind of like?
That's interesting.
Move this forward.
Like with James,
tough.
what I was going to say with James Gunn is that, like, you know, if he was in Snyder X position, he's working on an arc then, and he's like kind of, I guess, circling around whatever starts in the Suicide Squad and ends with, you know, whatever he is looking towards. I don't know. I don't know how much James Gunn is a big picture kind of guy, rather than just playing in the sandbox of, you know, of a universe that's already established. But when it comes to having somebody be in that Feige-esque position, I don't know. I literally don't know. I would like to say Kevin, like someone like Kevin Feige, or you know, with the same expertise as Kevin Feige. But Kevin Feige, he's an outlier. You know what I mean? He produced so many Marvel movies before even Iron Man 1. You know, with the Fantastic Four movies and with the X-Men movies and stuff like that. So he's been knee deep in this for ages. So he was kind of born to do this. I don't know much people.
Well, what would you think about someone maybe like Jim Lee or
he knows his DC.
He does know his DC, but we have seen what happens when you bring someone like that in. I mean, we've seen what happened with Jeff Johns and whatever like that. They're good writers, they're good artists, but you know, can they transition to film? I guess that's
what's interesting is Jeff Johns, in effect, a lot of people forget, started in film. Both he and Feige were personal assistants and worked directly with Richard Donner throughout his career.
Right. And so would Jim Lee be a good fit to kind of?
I don't know. I mean, you have a creative vision, but I think you'd almost need maybe two people would probably be more appropriate for DC, where you have someone who's kind of more based in kind of the comic side in the sense of understanding that lore and communicating that to the
like a writer.
He is an artist.
He
has done some writing every now and again.
Like Green Lantern.
What?
Didn't Jeff Johns, who was a writer, also try to do movies like Green Lantern?
Yeah. I think he was one of the co-writers.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna indict a man on that, but on Green Lantern. But
it's also, again, if you have a better hand in like having something overarching, and you're not necessarily working on dialogue, or you're not working on sort of the individual stories within the films, I think having someone creative, maybe like Jim Lee or just anyone, I don't know who, but like having a creative side that would be a avenue from the comic book side, and then have another person who's more closer associated with filmmaking and has a stronger filmmaking understanding, have those as two separate individuals working together, I think would probably be better. and then you can have your individual writers in the room together working on things,
I think
working on different films.
To add on to that, like I'm with that, like totally, and I think there should be basically a committee of continuity, basically, to establish what is the plan for whatever main kind of selling point for this cinematic endeavor. What is it going to be, and how is it going to be translated through the films and interconnected movies and TV? So Feige does that because Feige, at least from what I hear at the job description, he does a lot. You know, he's working with simultaneously many different movies, producing them, sourcing. I guess or he has people for that. He has team, but financing and story making and having all this stuff. So it's hard to do what Feige does, and he's not losing his hair for no reason. I don't think it's just badging that. I don't think it's just under that hat that he always wears. He doesn't really have that much hair.
I never really noticed that.
Oh yeah, and especially the other thing that I was thinking of is also Jarbo had brought this up in another stream. I think you might have been on there, Ty. I'm not sure. Was Jarbo had talked about, everyone talks about Feige. There were a couple of producers that do work under him directly, and they also have a sort of a sizable role in helping keep the MCU together. And so I think, again, just assume it's nice to have an exec, but it's also maybe nice to have one person who's an exec and then have a core of producers, like Carlos was saying on a creative side, but also kind of just helping keep things together for continuity. I think that is a good idea.
Yes.
I agree.
My idea with the kind of continuity committee, likes the alliteration right there.
But we've seen how committees cannot work.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is like idealistic. This is like if I was like head of the committee and I was like kind of guiding this in the direction that I would like it to be. But it would be like basically like, so you'd reach out to these people like, hey, James Gunn is an up and coming. He's like one of the best directors in this day and age. People love this movie and this movie, and we just need to have his expertise somewhere in this universe. So committee comes together. Hey James, we have all these properties. What property are you thinking about? The Suicide Squad. I could totally work with that. This and that. I love it. And then they're like, okay, so let's see where the Suicide Squad is currently in the universe that we already created. Oh well, Man of Steel happened, BVS happened. Darkseid's coming. Blah 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 blah. So just if you don't interrupt any of this, and we could find a way to tie it in, like maybe Starro is related to some kind of alien thing, relating back to whatever, how about this? And James Gunn's like, that's a little too constricting. I'm not with it. He's like, and then the committee could be like, okay, well, here, we'll give you more creative freedom, but you're technically not in the DCEU. You're in a separate label, and you'll have your own little, section within, HBO Max and stuff when it's released there. How about that? And then, we'll give you the funds. Like, yeah, I can work with that. And then he does it. People love it. They make money. And it's not stepping on the toes of, the kind of mainstream toy line, pushing agenda. You know what I mean? And everyone's happy.
Idea.
So it's like, okay, you could either be with us or you could be not with us. You're Black Label, and you could be as creative as you want, whatever you want. And if you prove your worth in Black Label, you can continue with that, or you can come back in.
That brings me to another point. We have seen several interviews that James Gunn has sat down. So okay, this is something I don't like, right? And listen, I'm a James Gunn guy. I enjoy him. I actually enjoy all of his family's work. What was that movie that he produced with his brother or something? And they were in a building and it was locked down and they had to kill each other.
Was that
the Belko Experiment?
Who's in it?
That movie was fantastic, and it was I thought it was a little too short because I wanted more and I wanted more and I wanted more. The Belko Experiment.
The Belko Experiment.
Yeah, they kind of like sequel tease at the end of it. But.
Yeah, and I would love to see more of that film. It was pretty gruesome, but it also the story kind of intrigued me. I'm just saying. Okay, I'm just bringing up a point about how I do like James Gunn. right? However,
Yeah.
he sat down in several interviews over the past couple weeks and said and talked about Warner Brothers like they were God himself, right? He was like,
What?
they are the home for a director. They've always been the home of the director. They give you the creativity freedom that you need. When we've seen over, like, is that a slap in the face to what we know
Definitely.
happened?
Definitely.
I don't know. I really don't know. And
Because it's not James's fault that what happened in the past happened, and he was given creativity. So he's not
Yes.
lying, but he's also neglecting the fact that David Ayer went through what he went through, and Snyder went through what he went through.
with respect to James Gunn's situation, my philosophy on that is honestly never attribute to malice that which can be attributed to stupidity.
Right.
I think that's probably a good way to look at this. Is there's no malice here. It's just he's talking about the present, and I don't think he's not. Obviously, I would be remiss to think that he or any director who's under that creative umbrella would openly, badmouth or openly even talk about things which we know have happened. They're on public they're in public record in that respect. But I would be surprised to see anybody. Exactly. It's kind of just something you don't want to talk about. And
Right.
not in the sort of like, not like it's radioactive or anything, but it's just kind of, don't bring it up unless you're asked,
Right. And I can get behind that. I really can. And sorry, I'm going to switch cameras.
That's okay.
But, I can get behind that. It's just James Gunn, like on Twitter, he'll like tweet at David Ayer and be like, I support you. I definitely want to see your vision come to fruition. But then kind of like double backs in these interviews saying that Warner Brothers has, been so supportive, and they've always been so supportive. I
can't speak for all of them, but from the ones that I've seen, I know that he's spoken, at least from his own experience. Was he talking about other, like how when he said it's always been that way for directors, did he say that in an interview, that portion of it?
Yeah, he basically came out and said that Warner Brothers has always been the home for directors, right? And they've always given the freedom and creativity that you needed to complete your vision. That's what he's saying in interviews.
That's
right?
If he is saying that in that particular verbiage that you just used, that's very strange to say. But again, I don't think there's anything malicious behind it.
No,
unless somehow, and I'm not saying this is true. I just want to get that out in the record. I'm not saying this is true. I'm speculating, and I'm also providing a hypothetical here. If we assume for a moment, 10 years from now, that basically James Gunn has a Ray Fisher moment where he tweets out, I'd formally like to retract each word of this statement, and he posts a clip of him saying that. Like then I could understand. But the way it seems to be, again, I don't think it's anything malicious. It was just a very strange thing to say.
Yeah, I definitely. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and it rubbed
I understand
the Snyder community in a wrong way. A lot's been happening in the Snyder camp, right? Like I'm talking about the fans specifically, with the Justice League motion comic, and that travesty. But then also we have this new movie coming out, and we have a director speaking about the company that kind of put us through the ringer for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. It just, like I said, it didn't sit well with me. Like I said, I'm still excited for James Gunn's Suicide Squad. I'm still seeing it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm still going to enjoy it. I hope at least. But I just wanted to, kind of get that off my chest, because
if what we see in the trailers is an indication of what we see in the film, then I'm going to enjoy myself. I will say that.
Right. What do you think? So, and do you guys like that they're including a classic like Starro?
Yeah.
That's right.
Who would have thought that Starro would be coming to any film? Look, if you look at it this way, like, so Starro, for anyone who doesn't know, was the first villain that Justice League ever teamed up against
Yeah.
in the comic books. So it's kind of hard to think about, like, when you think, all right, a Zack Snyder project, you would not see Starro as the main villain.
No.
But in a James Gunn Suicide Squad, this is perfect.
I mean, they had something reminiscing of that in Zack Snyder's Justice League with
Yeah.
the mind reading kind of spider things. But yeah, that was you know,
So
that's
I
just
mean,
a stretch. But just saying.
Yeah.
I'm literally like, I cannot wait to see Starro, and I cannot wait to see the little like Starro things that he pushes. Like, oh my god, I'm super
and then
excited.
and that was kind of cool seeing in Leicester Square the other day the giant Starro that they
that was
had
in-
put outside of the premiere. Yes, I am, by the way, Katsuka.
Wait, there was a star at the premiere?
Yes,
at the premiere in Leicester Square in England.
Like
Cool.
like I'm excited for like I'm just a sucker for like kaiju kind of things, big
Yes.
monsters and stuff like that.
Yes.
So like, you know, Star is like on the shorter side, you know, because like not like more like, you know, 100 feet than like 300 feet like Godzilla or something. But I'm like totally down for that. My only kind of gripe would be it's the ragtag team, you know, getting him, so they're probably gonna find a way to blow him up or something. It's like I want to see like Superman just like kind of beat the crap out of Starro and like get smacked around, thrown through buildings and mountains and stuff like that. I would like, you know, when it comes to like power scaling, power levels, and like I'm just a big DBZ kind of buff, you know, even though I'm not really a fan of the, you know, stories and stuff like that, but sign me up for that, you know. So hopefully we get to see some destruction and kaiju action in this movie.
Yeah. And that
Right.
was what was the thing about towing the company line here?
Right. Caden, our producer does bring up a good point that, and guys in the chat, I do see it. Remember, you can send a super chat, help us support breast cancer. If you'd like to hear or talk about something, let us know. Also, so James is under contract. He is towing the company line. And he's, as of right now, as of this couple weeks, he is the face of Warner Brothers.
Yeah, and he's going to be it for a little while, especially once Peacemaker comes around. And I would be unsurprised, like they said, I would be unsurprised if that Caden said, I'd be unsurprised if there was genuinely a non-disparagement, clause written into the contract. I would be entirely unsurprised, talking about like sort of past and present issues. And so as long as he's under contract, he can't sort of say anything. But once he's gone, he can say whatever he wants to say.
Yeah, exactly. But all right, so. I mean, how do you? I know this is so. I also put on the thumbnail and more, guys. I wanna get your opinion on something.
What's that?
Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer came out.
Yeah.
The official trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife came out, and it was jam packed, full of references to old films. And it's definitely the sequel that we've been waiting for. How do you guys feel about what we saw in the trailer?
I loved it.
I liked it. I don't really have like an attachment to Ghostbusters. I did watch the first one. I really liked the first one. Watched a few clips of the second one, and I did play the video game, the unofficial, kind of official because it was written by the original writers. Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 video game back in like 2008. So I love that.
Yeah,
and now we're getting this, and it looks like the child. I'm guessing it's Egon's child.
It is his grandkids. I mean,
grandkids.
That was what like they'd even said. I think it was even Phoebe, his granddaughter, had mentioned. Egon left this out here for a reason. I mean,
that's right.
They find the ecto one in it's in the house. Janine's there, so that's Finn Wolfhard's grandmother.
In fact,
so
what if what they did with Stan Lee and showed at the beginning of the movie a digitally faced Harold Ramis?
I don't think they're gonna do that.
I actually think that would be in very poor taste for them to do that. Well, it's a very strange thing, you know what I mean? Like it's and I'm not going to go down the Star Wars rabbit hole too far, but like it's a comparison would be in the case of Rise of Skywalker, that was pre-existing footage of Carrie Fisher. But to like deep fake a dead person into your movie is always a little strange to me. You know what I mean?
Like I think another apt example would be like Cobra Kai. You know, canonically, Mr. Miyagi didn't die until, you know, after Daniel's wife was not wife had his daughter and stuff, and like, you know, they were kind of like training with karate, and the way that they alluded back to him and kind of had his influence in that show is through letters and stuff like that. So,
And that's fine.
you know,
that's perfectly
I wouldn't
fine.
have wanted them to, you know, digitally fake
No,
Pat
no,
his face there.
no putting Pat Morita in. As much as I love Pat
Okay, but-
Morita, don't do that.
How about this?
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
about this? When I was watching the trailer, like at the end when it showed someone picking up that phone, red
Dan
phone,
Aykroyd.
that was Dan Aykroyd.
Yep.
so we are going to see some of the original cast, and I think
What about Bill Murray?
Bill Murray's back. Dan Aykroyd's
Yep.
back. Ernie Hudson's back. Sigourney Weaver's back.
Exactly.
And so is Annie Potts.
So right, so this is what I'm saying. The 2016, whatever that was,
that garbage heap of a movie.
it had problems because it wasn't really and I think I'm quoting someone from last night, it wasn't really a passing of the torch. It was kind of like, let's pick this franchise up and do what we want with it, be politically correct. It's an all-women cast, right? Like, it tried to do something, and I'll give it credit for trying. However, it just didn't work.
It was a nostalgia grab. It was just, hey, we have a property, and, you know, we don't want to be constrained by the previous lore. But hey, Ghostbusters, right? They're cool, right?
They wanted it to be two things at once. They wanted it to be a reboot, but they also wanted it to be a passing of the torch, because everyone forgets in Ghostbusters 2016's world, I can't speak to Ghostbusters 2, but Ghostbusters 1 happens.
Right.
It's in the trailers. It talks about, you know, the Ghostbusters saving New York.
Right.
So they tried to do both, and I think that's the problem. This one, it knows what it is. It is a passing of the torch movie. That's what this is.
Well, here's the thing. They only brought back those old guys just to make fun of their property.
I do not believe
Let me explain.
true.
When Bill Murray was in that movie, he was just like making fun of how they're doing their ghost tactics.
Are you talking about 2016 or?
Yes, that one, the 2016 version.
Okay. I can see what you're saying about that. But for this new film, comicbook.com and others have come out and said, where's the humor, right? Like, where's the slapstick humor that Ghostbusters kind of comes with? How do you guys feel about that statement?
I mean, I would like to see. I would like to see
the trailer, and I'm sorry to finish my thought there. This new trailer was kind of, it honed in on certain things. It meant to do a job, and I think it did it well. But there wasn't too much humor in it, right? It wasn't like a Marvel trailer or, you know, the new Star Wars trailers or whatever. There was no slapstick comedy. It was kind of dark. Not dark.
It was dark, but like it was interesting because I think a lot of it will be in the movie, and it's also, and like I'd heard a bunch of people talk about this. It's not sort of slapstick comedy, and it's not sort of in your face. It's kind of, the events are comedic. The dialogue may be comedic, but it's not sort of over the top. You know what I mean? If I'm describing myself clearly, that's sort of how I feel. There will be comedy in it. It's just not as much, and it just won't be in the way that you think.
Look, you have Paul Rudd in the movie. He's gonna make jokes. He's a joke guy, right?
He's man.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd being Paul Rudd.
I
still don't know how that guy doesn't age.
I love Paul Rudd so much, dude. I can only imagine that if you met him in person, he would be the sweetest person you've ever met. And I'm totally digging the new, like, how they revamped the Ghostbuster mobile or whatever it's
The
called.
Ecto One.
Looks the same as how we always saw.
It's a name. It's on the license plate.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get through this. All right.
And that's okay. And
Yeah.
just the remote controlled ghost trap on wheels. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, I'm there. You've sold me.
Yeah.
How
Like,
it
I hope, like, to be honest, I really hope that because canonically, like, the video game was part of it. So if, like, they bring in like concepts with like the Super Slammer on like the big ghost trap on top of the Ecto One and stuff like that, and
There already is kind of part of that because apparently the mine that Trevor and the kids go visit is the Evo Shandor mine. So there is a reference to
Really?
that.
nice.
Jarbo was talking about that on another stream, and apparently it does seem like they are starting to weave in some of the stuff from the game. So even if the game doesn't necessarily canon, it looks like they are going to at least kind of pull what they want from it and introduce it into this movie.
Also, like, to be honest, I'd like to see some more kind of working with the elements and stuff like that, because it's all nice and all, but Proton Pack, it's effective on some types of ghosts, but there's different things that they were playing with and different kind of gadgets, which I'm assuming Egon would develop through the years and leave behind.
Yeah.
I'd imagine I would imagine there's still a bunch of other new stuff that we just haven't seen. They kind of want to bring them in, and it's like you get to the movie theater, man, that was awesome. Like I would be unsurprised to see them do something like that.
And
Yeah.
I'm hoping that this movie, I really am hoping for its success. It's going to come out. It said this Thanksgiving. I don't think it gave an actual date, but I mean, if that's the date, Thanksgiving maybe. But if this movie does well, could you guys get behind like a new franchise, like bringing in the kid from Stranger Things, right? I think he's great. The girl, I don't know where she's from. I don't think I've seen her before.
I haven't seen her in much, but I do know that she is in her name. I think it's McKenna Grace. I think her name is. She's in the newest season of The Handmaid's Tale. Apparently,
okay.
She's actually, and they go really kind of to show you how depraved Gilead is. Okay. She's actually one of the wives of Gilead.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She's young though.
That's the point. That's the point.
No. Oh my god.
That's the point.
Oh my god. I can't get that out of my head.
Just to show how depraved the Gilead as a society is.
Yes.
But and so that's kind of the darkest thing she's been in. But she's been in other things. I just can't think of them off the top of my head. It's just recency bias. But
yeah,
Ben Wolfhard, I know from a couple of different things. Obviously, Stranger Things. We've seen a lot of material from that. And
then he was in It. No, was he in It or
no? Yeah. Yes, he was. Yes,
yeah, he was in the new It.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Yes, he was.
The kid's got talent. He really does. He's got a comedic side of him, but he can also play it serious. I think he has a future in Hollywood, but not like a Leonardo DiCaprio future.
There could be something. We just kind of need to see. And
Timothy Chalamet has Leo written all over him.
Yeah, Hollywood's already kind of jumped on that already. And I mean, obviously, case in point, you've got, aside from the kids there, you got the fact that if you go back to the other panel there, the previous image there. Yeah, that's not only an image, but also taken into consideration, if you guys remember Stranger Things season 3, it takes place around Halloween. The kids
the ghost.
They go Ghostbusters.
Oh my word!
Oh my god! I didn't even think about that.
That was one of the neatest coincidences, as far as oh yeah, that's a really cool thing, and it's kind of getting you used to it. It's like, well, this isn't show up on set. This isn't as heavy as I thought it'd be.
That's dude. I think everyone's kind of surprised.
I'm surprised Bill Murray's back more than anything else.
Yeah. I mean, Bill really does make the series.
Oh wait, hold on a second.
And these toys.
Is this what they're gonna look like?
These are toys.
Well, I mean, when the movie comes out.
Yeah,
I'm assuming so. The toys.
So they're gonna put the outfits back on.
Hell yeah! You can see in one picture the kid kind of scribbles his name over
one of the kids. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty funny, but All right, so I mean, it sounds like we're all kind of excited for the film, even if you haven't, seen too much of the franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, personally, like, I would like to see more. I don't want to be camp, like, oh, every ghost is a flying, poltergeist looking, apparition hovering in there, and like they just have like their kind of gimmick. One is a Slimer type with like slimy, and then one is like old timey with a suit and top hat and stuff like that. Like or like one's in an electric chair. Like I kind of get that, but I would like to see more. Like I don't know how it would continue off from Ghostbusters 2, but I would like to see more of like why are ghosts coming back, or have ghosts manifested themselves in other ways to make it harder for them to be captured, and why aren't the Ghostbusters operational to this day? You know what I mean?
That's a very good point and a very interesting point. I would like to see that explained in the movie.
Yeah, so I'm like, have ghosts kind of like, evolved in a way where now it's literally just, instead of being, apparitions that appear, that can be like, they kind of evolved to something else and kind of like incorporate it into legends and stuff like that. Like, oh, Bigfoot's a ghost, or the chupacabra is technically a ghost, or the Jersey Devil, or something like that.
That's an interesting idea. I could see some of them being ghosts and things like that. That's an interesting idea.
Because I feel like we kind of moved away from the ghost scene, and we're now in like more of an urban legend scene.
Right.
So that's just me. I don't know how they would incorporate that. I don't even know if they were going to, because what it looks like in the trailers is like Stay Puft's coming back with haunted marshmallows.
Well, they were little guys. They were
adorable. And they were actual marshmallows. They weren't a float. They were actually marshmallows and turning each other into s'mores. And also the terror dogs are back, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting, because I have sort of an in between experience. Like I watched Ghostbusters, very like the first time I watched Ghostbusters was a little over 5 years ago. But I watched the real Ghostbusters because they ran it on reruns on Teletoon up here every Halloween. So like the whole month of October, they'd run reruns of the real Ghostbusters because it was just past sort of like syndication when I was a kid. So I was always familiar with it anyway. So I'm like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah. So Caden brings up a point about Gozer.
Gozer.
She was the
big bad ghost from the first Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I'm not always familiar with like names and stuff. I get especially with Ghostbusters when I saw it when I was like 10 years old.
She was the
big
bad,
couple of times.
Top of the pyramid. Are you a god? Then die.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah.
And I was the same way with Masters of the Universe. Like I said, I have a vague experience of it because like I watched the 02 series growing up, but again, I didn't touch it again after I was like 12 or 10 or something like that. So it's been a long time. But like Ghostbusters, I have a stronger relationship with. So I'm genuinely excited.
I'm really happy to hear that, guys. So we're probably gonna wrap it up here. I really do want to thank all of you for joining me.
Anytime, man.
Yeah, and Carlos and actually everyone, stay after because I'd like to thank you guys personally. All right,
sure,
so
not a problem.
It's been
it's awesome. I mean, so where can everyone find you guys on Twitter, or if you do YouTube channel? Well, Carlos, where are you?
Yeah, it's just that one Carlos on YouTube and that one Carlos YT on Twitter. Check me out.
TW?
Yeah, so if you guys want to sort of continue the conversation elsewhere, you guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit at TWMcKay34. I'll put it in chat if you guys want to come and say hello at some point.
All right. And then Andrew?
You can find me on YouTube and on Instagram.
All right. What's the name where they find you?
Well, on YouTube, it's my name, Andrew Sally.
Okay.
And the logo is this.
You guys got to know something about Andrew. He's a huge Tobey Maguire fan, and he's really excited about Spider-Man: No Way Home. Thinking Tobey's coming back. Maybe we'll do a nice stream about that next week, guys.
Really?
I want to say thank you guys for coming. So stick around after the credits roll, okay?
Sounds
Gotcha.
good.
I'll stay for a quick minute.
See you, everybody.
All right. Well, that was the panel, guys. I had a lot of fun talking about the things that we love, and that's what we have to do. We have to spread positivity. That's what fandoms are all about, is talking about the things that we love with the people that also love them. I'm super excited. Tomorrow we'll be seeing the Suicide Squad. Austin and I will be at the pre-screening of it for press and promo. It's going to be super exciting. I'm also writing the review for the GWW, so check out my review of the Suicide Squad tomorrow or the next day. I'm not sure. It's going to take me a little minute to write it, so I'll link everything and I'll let you guys know. Thank you so much for joining us as well. If you could like, share, subscribe, and join, or donate to the cause. It's all for breast cancer this month. It all goes towards a good thing. We're trying to help local women in the Boston area fight the disease. Some costs aren't covered by insurance. So like say you go to CVS and you need bandages or anything else. Typically that's not covered by your insurance. So my mom spent a lot more money than you would think. So that's what we're kind of trying to aim to do at first. So if you could donate or support any way, shape or form, that would truly mean the world to me. We do it for you and we do it for the culture. All right, Caden, I'll do it.